Hey, thank you so much for jumping in so early, folks. We're going to have ads run in just a few minutes so that we kick out all those yucky pre-rolls, and then we'll be diving into some game dev today. Thank you so much for hanging out. It's good to see you all, and we'll be starting in earnest in just a minute. Be right back. everyone! Hello, hello, hello. How are we doing today? Welcome on in. It is so good to see you all. Thank you for coming in and joining us. Thank you so much, Mothman, Hennaratlan. Hennaratlan. Is that a hen and a rat, or is it coincidence? The people need to know. Tablet Pencil, Jack, Foolbox, Robotech, Daniel Pancake, Mr. Potatoes, Cubist Dev, Queen Anne, Zaft, the man himself, and 2D Fighters holding down the fort over on YouTube. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. It is wonderful to see you all. Love the hat. Thank you. Oh, we have the hat on because the Fool Box is on. So, yesterday, we did a lot of analysis of Tainted Grail, Fall of Avalon. That was a ton of fun being a part of that 960 Risen event. Thanks to Awakened Realms. Once again, Awakened Digital, I believe, is their publishing arm for digital things. It was a lot of fun, and I think we got a lot of interesting stuff out of it, kind of exploring different layouts for inventories and how to kind of improve on that and all that sort of stuff. Today, we're going to be working on Overload again. I wanna make some real progress on here because I've been going very, very slowly. Thank you. Okay, one quick sec. Okay. I'm proud of Tablet. Yeah, we're all proud of Tablet. Tablet's great. Oh my goodness. Okay. Tablet should be proud of themselves. Today is release day for the Tablet. Oh, yes, absolutely, Queen and Anne. I can't. Okay. Okay. Those are our tasks for today. If we get those things working, productive, good, happy, healthy day. Man, how do I zoom in just a little more granularly? There we go. There we go. There we go. Pride is my hubris, hence why my viewers have to take it for me. Okay. I don't even remember where we are. We had a weekend. We had that analysis stream. I don't even remember where we're at with Overload. I'm pretty sure there's stuff with UI to fix. Let's go see where we are at right now. I know we've got this whole big timer label, and we got to scooch this all down. Are we getting our powers working yet? Oh, that's right. I think like they kind of are working a little bit. Oh, and then the end timer is completely broken too. Oh my gosh, so much stuff to fix. By the way, I want to hear how you are all doing. How are you all doing? How are your projects? How's life going? Fill me in. Let me live vicariously through you. Stop being so selfish and hoarding all the cool news. Queen Anne, you can send it whenever you'd like. We'll make sure it happens. We can do it at the beginning, we can do it at the end, we can do it smack dab in the middle. Whatever works for you. Can you believe it? Life is moving forward one day at a time. I literally can't. Life does not seem to be linear to me nowadays. It is this cyclical, non-Euclidean, eldritch horror mess where I'm trying to frantically disarm a bomb while, riding on a unicycle with no training. Rest has yet to defeat me. Nice. Started a new project this morning. Couldn't mess with the interest to continue on my old one. Mothman, last I heard you were learning Godot, right? I don't even have you on my spreadsheet. What are you working on, Mothman? Mothman Centaur. I have a spreadsheet of things. It's still linear until you account for the juggling that I'm also doing, and that's cyclical. So, doing good. Join TriJam. Overscoped and still need to finish a few things, but I think it's doable. Very cool, Cubis. Very cool. Or else you'd be going backwards. It's more of a loopy-whoopy, weepy, swoopy-doopy sort of experience. Wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey. You know the deal. Yeah, sounds great, Queen Anne. Sounds great. Zaft working on a little snowman making game for a Size Matters themed. That's a hilarious prompt, by the way. I'm sure that got some people jumping in. Hilarious, Zaft. I can't wait to see that. Hold on. Little snowman making a game for Size Matters themed jam. Perfect. Doing a puzzle platformer in GameMaker. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you for letting me know, Mothman. I know Narvin has been continuing his work on his game jam submission for Fox Hollow Jam of the shapes and the colors and everything. The memory game. What was it called? Was it Shape Overload or something? Gosh, I don't even remember the title, but it was very cool. Alonzi! There you go, Foolbox. Your Rage platform is coming along well. Very nice, Tiny Devil. You feel you finally dialed in the correct amount of rage? Okay. Updated the spreadsheet. Good, good. What should we be doing right now? Right. Far too much rage. Here's the thing. You make a rage game, and then you make content about it on YouTube. Instant celebrity. There you go. Which is just enough. Like, if the divorce lawyer is on hand, but not yet called, that is the appropriate amount of rage for a rage platformer. Man, I have a lot of rage platformers that are not necessarily supposed to be rage platformers because I suck at platformers and I just don't jive with instant death where you have to repeat a bunch of stuff. I remember playing Shovel Knight and Hollow Knight on the Switch, and my wife constantly just being like, Joe, are you having fun still? Like, are you okay? Like, yes, I'm having fun. Of course I'm having fun. This is only the 18,000th time I've tried to jump over this stupid pit with spikes on it. Why wouldn't I be having fun anymore? Those aren't even rage games. I know, but they're rage games for me. Oh my gosh, I'd never survive trying to do, like, want to be the Bashi or anything. I'd be dead. I did actually, years ago, stream, what was it? I need to find this for my sanity. It was a platformer that, like, Man vs. Game was playing for a good while, and he just, like, nearly broke from it. You were, like, a fairy or something, or some nature gal running around. It had bosses, it had instant death platforming, my favorite mechanic ever. Gosh, what was it? Oh no, this is gonna kill me. I have to find this. I'm browsing through my library just frantically. Come on. I know I'll know it when I see it. Instant death where you have to repeat the whole level. It's not really a rage game, but it does induce rage. Yeah. Don't ever try Will You Snail. Oh shoot. Remember Guild Wars 2, the only way I got through the jumping puzzles was because the engineer had a jump skill that let me target jump to a spot. Nice. Good to see you, Rubix. Just had my newest update play tested. Almost ready to send it up to itch. Ooh, Robotech. Super exciting. I can't wait to see it. So I actually know one of the designers who really encouraged those platformer sections. And super cool dude, by the way. Like, I haven't met him in real life, but I was introduced to him by a family member, and we've chatted a little bit, and I've watched his online presence. Incredible person, absolutely phenomenal individual. But the amount of hate that he got for those jump puzzles was astounding. Like, wowsies. People would track down who was responsible for each jump puzzle, and they would let them know their thoughts. Oh my goodness, I'm looking in the wrong category. Where is this thing? Let's see. indie, I guess? Action? Where is it? Where is it? No, I need to find it. I need to find this game. Sorry, the stream's on hold until I figure out what this game is. My Steam library is too gargantuan. Shifting under its own weight causes the whole planet to sink. Goodness gracious. Tormentor X Punisher. I've never even played that one. I don't even know what it is. What are these things in my Volgar the Viking? It wasn't that one, but it was close to it. It was a similar sort of feel. Marketing is my rage game. Rust is my rage game. At least put us in an ad if you're going on break. I'm not going on break. Hey. Don't make me your rage game, okay? Goodness gracious. I wish I could just search for platformer. I'm Fox's rage game. Okay. Is it maybe in a different section? Oh, hold on. Okay. Foxy can't be a rage game. It's impossible. Well, maybe you should just ask some people who know me in real life. Oh my goodness. Not Prototype 2. Definitely not Prototype 2. Man, this is such a trip down memory lane for me. Seeing stuff like Race the Sun. Oh my gosh, Renowned Explorers. Wow, Starforge. That's a weird one. Swapper, which I have never played. Holy cannoli. Man, I can't seem to find it. All right, well, maybe I'm gonna have to renege on my promise. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, but yeah, it was some platformer where you difficult platformers. 19 is probably when it came out. Indie. Oh, Guacamelee is not a difficult platformer. Give me a break, Reddit. Goodness, I'm not seeing it in any of the recommendations for difficult platformers either. Thank you so much, Daniel. Appreciate it. No, not Ori and the Blind Forest. That wasn't a difficult platformer. Absolutely not. Ori was a great game, although I never played the sequel. My goodness. It wasn't Valdis' story, was it? Valdis? No, that's the Metroidvania. This wasn't a Metroidvania. It was a platformer campaign. I swear you were like a fairy or something. Let it haunt your dreams forever. Platformer player is a fairy difficult. Can you say more about the game so that we can help? Yeah, so I mean, it's so hard because I very, barely remember it. Gosh, it had almost like a chibi sort of aesthetic. The main character was slightly waifu-y. I think you were a fairy. It had dialogue. Oh, this is just not helping, is it? I think there was a electricity powers or something. And it was another one of those like rage platformers where, you know, and it was I think it was like illustrated. It was like hand drawn. It wasn't pixel art, I don't think. And I cannot find it in my Steam library. Maybe it never existed. Can I like search by date played? Platformer. There we go. I found the tag for platformer. Wasn't Evil Land, wasn't Fez, not Final Station, not Freedom Planet. Not Hell Yeah, although that is a great game. Definitely go play Hell Yeah. That's one that people probably haven't ever heard of before. Hell Yeah was great. If you ever want to play as a bunny skeleton riding a chainsaw, saw blade, unicycle, blasting through hell, hell yeah. Not Slain. Like, I'm wondering if it got removed from the store or something, because it is straight up not here. It's not under the platformer tag, which is strange. Wow. A real rage platformer, like Hollow Knight rage platformer. We got to establish a language here. Very fair. It was, in my opinion, a rage platformer. It was tremendously difficult platforming, like way harder than Hollow Knight. Not necessarily unfair, but like frame perfect sort of stuff, right? Maybe precision platformer? No. Oh, Thomas Was Alone is not a precision platformer. I found it! Wings of Vi! I found it! This game ate my heart. I found it. I found it. I'm sure everyone can breathe a sigh of relief now. I had it hidden in my Steam library. That's why I couldn't find it. I literally had so much trauma with this thing that I said, never again, and I hid it from myself. Oh my gosh, world is saved. He found the game. Yeah, no, this thing was absolutely insane. How many hours did I even get in it? 14.3? I highly doubt I even made it very far in the game. I remember that guy. I think we got about to that part. And holy cannoli, was it just insanely difficult. Yeah, no, this broke my soul. Goodness gracious. Oh, we broke the camera again. All right. Hey, should we do some game dev for once in my sorry life? Oh, so good to see all of you here. Let's do some game dev. Let's actually build some stuff. And Queen Anne, I'm just staying on the lookout for whenever you send that over. Ooh, Zaft. Interesting post in the UI feedback channel in Discord. I gotta go. We'll take a look at that. Cool. Oh, Tiny Devil, I see your screenshots. Nice. Oh, I love those particles. Very cool. Yeah, you're definitely putting the shaders to work. Nicely done. That's super cool. Is this the color flipping rage platformer, or is it a different one? I don't remember if that was you that was posting about having like that like swap between black and white colors in order to kind of turn on and off different platforms. Is that the same thing? Okay. Send it before you get too in the zone for programming. Yeah, send it over, Queen Anne. Let's take a look. Not the color flipping one. It's a different one. Okay. I was about to say, this doesn't look color swapping, but maybe it's just like changed a lot since then. Yeah, Queen Anne, send it my way. So I'm really excited about this. Queen Anne, is this a world premiere online? Is this the first time this has seen the light of day? Queen Anne has been silently working on this project for a long time and pouring a lot of heart and soul into it. She's been very secretive about it. The only thing that I've been able to get out of her is death is a mechanic, and it's a puzzle platformer. So I'm very excited. I have my thoughts on what this game is going to be, but I'm very curious to see like how it shakes out. I'm very, very curious. How are you planning on sending it to me? according to legend, you should never pick up a duck in a dungeon, Tiny Devil. What are you making? What are you making? My goodness. You publish it. This will be the first stream it's featured on. Okay, I'm going to count this as a world premiere. The first time anyone has ever seen this, ever, in the history of the world. Let me see. Where's my camera? There we go. Ah, sheesh. Hey, Pokejohn, good to see ya. How are you today? Okay, Endless U. Oh, I thought that was an E. First off, Queen Anne, am I just playing it? Am I giving feedback? If I'm giving feedback, what stage of game is it? What sort of feedback are you looking for? Fill me in on some context here. When you were young, your people lived peacefully with a community of large, lizard-like aliens. That's an opener. They've since vanished from your planet without a word, leaving behind their factories and so many questions. Wait a minute, are these Chozo? Is this Metroid? You must brave their abandoned factories and find a way to call them back home. Or are we talking Warhammer with, like, the old ones? Because, like, I'm definitely down for that. Only then will the questions finally be answered for you. Endless U is a 2D puzzle platformer where you have to die to solve the puzzle. When you die, you're brought back to life by the machinery in the factories, but your old body remains. Lift, drop, and jump off your old bodies to reach the top of each factory. Yeah, I figured that's probably what we were going to be doing. Tobagus, hello! Good to see you both. How are you doing today? How's your stream been? Yeah, how's and you've got your launch coming up kind of soon, right, Tobagus? Isn't it getting close? This is a prototype technically, but I would like an octalysis analysis or however it's spelled. Sounds good. Sounds good. You already launched? Are you for real? Oh, and congratulations, Pokejohn. That's awesome. Congrats, a new job. That's wonderful. It is launched in early access. I thought it was coming up soon. Okay. Why didn't I get a notification that it launched into early access? What the heck, Steam? Tired, exhausted, dead. We launched last week. I'm sure you're just tuckered. Holy cannoli. Good for you guys. I know, right? All right, Tobagus, I don't have the Steam link for this. You're not in my spreadsheet. Why are you in my spreadsheet? If you have the wherewithal and the energy. Oh, thank you, Foolbox. Saving the day. Thank you. I'm going to put this over in the chat so that, like, YouTube can see it too. Appreciate you, Foolbox. Okay, there we go. Super rad. Yeah, it is on my wish list. Come on, Steam. Come on. Super cool. I love the concept here. It's like if I remember correctly, it's like a clicker tower defense, but instead of like killing things, you're giving people coffee to help them wake up, right? It's a wild ride. The UI I'd like you to touch on, but be gentle. Okay, sounds good. Mr. Potato, hello, welcome in. Welcome in. So let's go ahead and dive in. Let's take a look at Queen Anne's game. Endless U has a unique take on a lore system. That's something I've never heard before. Collect pages in the factories to unlock journal entries written in the alien's language. You can then translate them using context, clues, and intuition to unlock their secrets. So this is like a full-on, there's like a cipher in this game that you have to figure out. Okay. And it sounds like it's going to be manual. Like, I'm going to need like a sheet of paper and a pen. We need help with UI. Hey, anytime, Tobagus. Anytime. You just let me know. I'd be happy to jump and support any way that I can. Okay, so we've got a whole bunch of empty pages. Whenever there's a collectible in a game, I really like having an indication of how much are in each space, you know? That helps me to know where I'm looking. I know for some people that may diminish that sense of exploration, but boy, do I really need that. Because otherwise, I'm just going to go crazy. I'm probably never going to find that last thing that I just walked past and I didn't even realize it. I clicked into the lore book first and feel that was the correct choice. There you go. Oh, there's a tutorial. Oh. Wait. Hold on. Why is the tutorial behind the lore book? You love the UI analysis streams. That's very helpful for me to know, Risky Biscuit. Thank you. We are kind of in a phase where we're kind of still trying to figure out how can we deliver the most value to people? Where are people finding the most support? And so hearing stuff like that helps me to know kind of where to gear more towards. Okay, but I'm a UI programmer, so bias is showing. The tutorial is specifically a lore tutorial. Oh, interesting, because when I jumped in, I was thinking, oh, this is the tutorial for the game. I found some data drives left behind by the Kardashians, left behind by the Kardashians at their factories. These files will document the process of translating them. I sometimes forget, oh, and there's music playing. Let me crank that up. I sometimes forget that not everyone has the same linguistic background as I do. Can you scroll up a bit? Yeah, Jack. It's just the banner up here. So to make this document more accessible, I will give an overview of the Soldacian language before continuing. Soldacians are large, intelligent aliens with reptilian features. 49 of them landed here and formed a colony before I was born. That's very specific. I'm expecting some sort of collectible now around 49. Sir Alex Grimm, hello, welcome in. Yeah, I'm snoozing it for a little bit so we can get through this lore bit and then we'll dive in. Thank you, Risky, appreciate it. They left the planet shortly after I came of age. Their language is completely phonetic, meaning you'd know exactly how to say something by how it's written. Very nice for us trying to now translate it. Each syllable consists of one consonant and one vowel. The consonant base is written as several overlapping lines, while a vowel is written as a single curve. Okay, so this is M-E. This is Y-oo. This is... Whoa. B-O? I don't know. Boy. And... Huh. Syllables with the same base and curve, but opposite curve placements have opposite meanings. Okay, so what indicates if a curve is going to be in which corner? They're said to be each other's counterparts. Neither counterpart is seen as bad or evil. Both counterparts are needed to achieve balance. Sure, okay. If the top symbol means food, I'm digging this. I really like this. I just want to say, like, my brain is engaged. This is something very different and interesting to me, and I like the puzzle. If the top symbol means food, what would the bottom symbol mean, given that they are counterparts? Empty? Or hungry? I guess I could see drink. Okay, alright. Read last. Okay. Each syllable represents a full concept in the form of a noun. A noun becomes a verb when a special syllable is placed after it. Funny to see someone do the lore first. I like the lore book, but it doesn't seem to relate to the game demo. I can see a cool storytelling secrets being used with it. Yeah, I agree, Fortunes. In fact, I'm kind of feeling like this is the game right now. So that's kind of a thing. Like, if you maybe don't really want that feeling, Queen Anne, you don't want that. If you want this to be a more subordinate part of the game, maybe like make sure that this is not available until the player gets a certain amount into the game, right? And unlocks the ability to access this. The begin menu made it hard to know what to do first. To a certain degree, I mean, I'm just one of those people that like explores the different options before going to the place that I'm quote unquote supposed to, right? I think the top-down order was maybe a little clear. Oh no, I need to go take another look at it. This is secretly Duolingo for Klingon. Seriously, Duolingo could learn something from this, for real. Like, Duolingo's gamification is very strong, but it's very social-based and also kind of rudimentary. It's very small, but strong, right? And I think they could... And I know they have a whole fleet of gamification designers on their team. So I'm sure they've thought about it, but they could do a lot more. Each syllable represents a full concept in the form of a noun. A noun becomes a verb when a special syllable is placed after it. Syllables can modify nouns as adjectives and verbs as adverbs. How dare you teach me grammar? When placed beside them, separated with a dash. So this is drink, and this is drink with a verb. So this is the glass, and this is when I drink the glass. And then this is a modified drink, modified with sweet. Okay. I love this. I'm going to try achieving something like this in my game as well with mathematics. Yeah, with the scrolls and everything. Nice, tablet pencil. That's super cool. That's fair. It's sort of just open because it's a demo. Exactly. Yeah. I don't have saves functional, so I want to make sure you could load it up and just play. Absolutely, Queen Anne. Absolutely. Off-grid, good to see ya. How are you today? Compound syllables express complex thoughts. They are multiple syllables together, not separated by a dash. I don't know the meaning of many of these. Figuring them out will be the bulk of my work here. A note on grammar. Okay, cool. Oops, we accidentally skipped. Sentences in Soldacian start with the verb, so simply reading the literal translations of syllables in order can be confusing. Start with the verb. Okay, so it's going to be like play basketball, not basketball play, right? The subject of the sentence, the noun doing the verb, comes second. The object of the sentence, the noun that the verb is being done to, comes third. Okay, so play basketball us, right? Literally soul, present, self, well-being. I am well. Okay, soul, self, well. So my soul, the soul of myself is well. Okay. There are always these three parts to a sentence. There are no articles like the, with, or of in Soldacian. This makes their sentence structure neat and tidy, but increases the importance of context. Given a sentence must have verb, subject, order. What must the highlighted word mean? This? Well, that's the verb. I don't remember the symbols though. So eat, I guess? Yeah, okay. There you go. Great. All right. Rad. File sets. Oh my gosh, there's so much. Oh my goodness. Okay. Hold on. we gotta pause on that. We gotta dive into the actual game. We have ads starting in just a sec. What sort of game did you come into? This is Queen Anne's game. Let me post it in chat again. Queen Anne is sharing this. I'm calling it a world premiere. And it is a really cool game with, it's a puzzle platformer that also has this like linguistic puzzle element of kind of collecting and ciphering this ancient language of lizard people who are no longer there. Really interesting. So we're gonna we were just taking a look at the lore book and kind of seeing how that all interacted. We're gonna jump into the main world just so soon as we hit the ads, and then after the ads we'll jump in. Also, definitely join the Discord. I didn't know you had a Discord, Queen Anne. I'm at the 100 server limit. No. Oh, what server do I leave? It's like leaving my children. Oh dear. All right, you've been inactive for a long time. Let's continue. Fox has joined too. Yeah, for real. How do I hit the upper limit? Because I keep joining Discords of developers. I am up at that 100 limit. Everyone has a Discord server nowadays. Yep, and I need to reach out to all of them. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. Ad starting in just a second. When we get back, we're going to dive in, play World 1. Very excited about this. Thank you, Queen Anne, for sharing. Okay, welcome back, welcome back. We're gonna dive into more of Queen Anne's magnum opus, Endless You. Let's get going. Very cute. I like the aesthetic. Very, feels kind of Undertale to me. Granted, I haven't actually played Undertale, so take that for what it's worth. But it's very simplistic, right? So it can either feel underbaked or very intentional. Right now, with the character design, I'm kind of leaning towards it feeling intentional. I know, Mothman. I know. It's on the list. It's on the list of things I need to do. Maybe we'll have like a subathon or something someday, and that's one of the incentives as we do an analysis stream of the entirety of Undertale. That'd be fun. I'd like that. That would be a fun thing to do. So I'm feeling it's a little more intentional, and I don't exactly know why. I think it's the heart and maybe the abnormal shape of the head. That kind of, like, that sort of bean shape tells me that it's something you, like, hand-built, and then the heart feels very different. So it seems to communicate intention to me. It's hard to put my finger on it. Makes me think of the Heart Beast tutorial guy. Yes! Yes, Zaft! That is what I was thinking of, and I didn't know it yet. I was like, this feels so familiar. What is going on here? Yes, you are totally right. Hold on. It is him. Got the innocence similar to Hollow Knight. I can see that, yeah. It's the same sprite. You do credit Heartbeast in the description. There you go. That's amazing. Hold on. I need to show it so that we are all on the same page. Right there. That's our guy. But in living color. I love it. Okay, let's do this thing. Just a basic platforming tutorial. Sounds good. Oh no. Oh no. This is very disconcerting. Why are there already dead bodies over here? Yeah, I agree, Zaft. I agree. Okay, so we're getting a little mini platforming tutorial. How do we get across here? So we can jump up. Let's see. Let's check the controls. Is there like a kill your die? You know, fire laser. Don't have that yet. Okay. Lift or drop. Oh, whoa. Yeah. Okay. I never would have guessed that. So for learnability, yeah, that needs to be a little more explained. I don't have ads in Europe. I click back to the stream YouTube ad. Yeah, lift drop. Yeah. Okay. So we got page 1. All right. So I don't know what these arches are yet. I'm guessing they're checkpoints if I die here. Yeah. Okay. And I'm going to guess this is too big to jump across. Yes. Good. See, this is actually really good, strong level design. I like this. The sign painter. Yes. Yeah, I agree. So it's feeling very Mario in that way, right? Where you are leveraging level design to teach the player how to understand and play the game. Okay, so that has completely blocked off the things. Okay, I was wondering if there would be a little bit of an overlap. Looks good. Purple font can use some outline if it's showing potentially in a black background. Yeah, we could talk about like readability on some things here. But I mean, it's Queen Anne, if I'm understanding correctly, it's kind of at like a very early wireframey prototype version, right? So like none of the artwork is final, none of the, you know, all this sort of stuff. Even the UI that shows up is probably not finalized in terms of layout, all that sort of stuff, right? I will say the core mechanic of this game is dying. I don't know that we need that freeze frame there, you know? Because the freeze frame is basically the game saying, look, something important happened, but it's like, yeah, I know something important happened. Like, that's what I wanted to have happen. Can I please just go pick up my body now? Nothing is final, it's early. Yeah. I am Haiti, good to see ya. Hello. Good to see ya. Okay, so this is going to be a leaning tower of bodies. Great. This is very morbid. So I will say thematically, keep the freeze frame for the tutorial levels. I mean, I could see it, especially like the first time or something, you know. Very cutesy aesthetic, very morbid mechanic, right? Unless you communicate like you are a robot, and these are not dead versions of yourself. They are just shells, you know, that don't really matter. But as it is, like, look how cute that little guy is. Look how cute they are. And so it feels like a mismatch that the tone of the story and the world is not necessarily addressing. It's okay to have the mismatch, but I think you need to address it somehow. You need to have some indicator to the player that, yes, this is weird. This is supposed to feel dissonant. Turn it into a horror lore game. Get it on Game Theory. There you go. Why are there so many expendable people? No, these aren't people. This is me. Oh, and you can't carry people through checkpoints. Okay, interesting. This is all me. That is my dead body on the ground. These are not, like, lemming people that are, oh, jeez. This feels a little tight. Because, I don't know, can we do 2? Okay, all right. I thought I was going to have to, like, do steps on that one. Blood particles would be lovely. I don't know if lovely is the right word, but I get what you're getting at. For the whole time, I thought the banner art was of a panda. Yeah, right? I'm not totally sure what it is, because we're trying to chase down aliens. But, like, it's never stated that we're humans. So, what is this place? How can I die multiple times? So it's in the description of the game. Let's see, what's the actual, instead of me paraphrasing it. When you die, you're brought back to life by the machinery in the factories. You must brave the, okay, so we're braving the abandoned factories of the lizard-like aliens that were on this world before, that presumably have been there, like, throughout history. And we're brought back to life by the machinery in the factories, but your old body remains. Interesting on the dissonance thing. I'm hoping it's clearer once we have updated visuals. Yeah. I would not be surprised if that would happen at all. So we got the lore page. We did the extra thing. We got, what? So the first thing I thought when I saw this is, it's a desk. It's like a student's desk. And then I died. I was like, stairs? Why are stairs killing me? I don't know. What on earth is that supposed to be? Are they like heat vents? Also, they don't leave a body behind. Am I like getting disintegrated? So stoked to see this develop further. I know, right? The sign? Absolutely. A second game where people die to pianos. Oh, shoot. Okay, so this is interesting. So we now have things that don't leave a body behind when you die. If I put a body on it, will it delete the body? Yes. Yes, it will. Okay. So that's a good little opportunity to teach it. Very, very good. So we can do this and then just jump up. And then we're going to have to jump over. Ah, okay. So we can't make that. We have to do 1 and 1. Okay. Hey, courtesy of Endo. Good to see ya. How are we doing today? We're doing very well. We are playtesting Queen Anne's game, which she just barely published. I'm calling this a world premiere of the next indie smash hit. Yeah, it's cool. It's a game that uses your own death as a mechanic, so you kind of cover up the spikes as you die, and it's about trying to discover the mysteries of what is happening to this planet. There were old reptilian aliens that are now gone, and we don't know why, and there's also like this linguistic translation side of things. It's like it's a whole big thing. They're called grills internally, but they've been called a lot of things: shredders, pianos, desks. I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought desks. Nectos, good to see ya. Jack, I had the same thing go through my head. Okay. So there we go. We got our bodies up there. I almost wonder if I could like stack up even further. Bold Man, hello, welcome in. Good to see you over on YouTube. Corpse mechanics. Okay, I'm paying attention. Yes. So here's one concern I have, right? I'm not gonna do it because I don't want to soft lock myself. But would it be possible? I mean, I guess it's not possible. My question was, can I completely block my path with bodies? Can I manifest a wall of corpses so powerful that I cannot progress? And I realized, well, I mean, not really, because you can just chuck it back into the checkpoint and then the bodies disappear, right? So, I kind of answered my own question. Wait a minute, hold on. Is the body? Oh, it's protecting me from the spikes. Let me just jab my dead body into these ceiling spikes to keep me safe. Wow, that's so morbid. Holy cow. Oh, man. I can't even imagine the sound effects happening, you know? Oh, jeez. So we pick up our human shield. Oh, jeez. There's an anti-soft lock mechanic that I need to teach before this point. Pressing shift for the... Oh! Hey! I didn't see that. Also, sticky keys, I've turned you off. Why are you... Come on. Yeah, no keyboard shortcut, please. We don't need sticky keys. I don't even know what sticky keys does. Please don't exist. Okay. So the laser... And this is actually good color language, by the way. Good color language with the laser being that green, which is matching up with the deletion of the bodies and stuff. Very, very good shape language. So now I'm kind of wondering. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, that's so gnarly. Not only does it shield me from them, but I slowly pull off the spikes to... Bunk. Oh, jeez. That is brutal. Wow. Okay. So it's at this point I'm starting to feel like, okay, like I'm ready to like get past the tutorial, right? Like I'm ready to kind of explore what this game has to offer. I want to start doing the story. And then I started wondering, am I in a tutorial? I don't even know anymore. Is this just the game? Is this the campaign? And this is like the form that it manifests in. And I don't know the answer. Can I pick up below me? Can I jump? Yeah, I can't jump up that. How do I? Oh, that's what those ceiling spikes are for. Okay, that's clever. It's a nice little puzzle. I like it. Then we just place this guy strategically, and we're good to go. Is there a limit to the number of bodies? Yes, off-grid. Yeah, nice. Okay, so... Oh, this is so gruesome. Oh my gosh. I don't feel comfortable doing that at all. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is so disturbing to shove your body into the spikes. Like, falling into the spikes feels way less so. Like, the act of it sliding off just seems so hardcore. Oh my gosh. Okay. One thing that I'm feeling is if there are spikes, I should go die on them. The spikes are no longer danger. They are, oh cool, this is the puzzle that I need to overcome. Not even the puzzle I need to overcome. This is the place I should be going. Instead of it kind of creates this interference signal in a way, right? Where like red means go. Where now spikes are, yay, spikes. And I'm kind of curious if we're going to see any playing with that perception of like, these are spikes that you shouldn't jump into. Oh gosh, down the pit. That's why I asked about number of bodies. There you go. Interesting reaction to the ceiling spikes. I'll have to think on that. And like you said, you know, it could be when you get real art in here and sound effects and everything, maybe that perception shifts. Maybe it doesn't feel as, you know, torturous as it does right now. I don't know. It's a really interesting case study for me, though, of how the aesthetic is going to be more than something that exists in this. It's going to be, like, vital to nailing what this game is trying to accomplish. Oh, come on. What if, okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. There's more than one way to skin a dead body, which I guess is what you do when you skin things. It's just, ugh. My instinct was also cover every spike. Yeah, absolutely. Is there any drawback for the number of bodies? Some visual change? Sounds like the answer is no, right, Queen Anne? Okay. Can I pull this one out? Oh, so there is gravity. Okay. This is not the optimal way to do this puzzle. Also, I can't imagine these alien lizards, like, if we bring them back and then they see this field of one person dead over and over again, I can't imagine them being like, you know, I'm sad we left this place. Okay, interesting. So, there we go. That's the solution. Just, I was thinking like, oh, we're gonna have to like die in a interesting order in order to provide the spaces and the shields and everything. No, you just cover up the holes. Got it. Okay. I think the answer is more corpses. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, so that kills both of us. Ooh. Can I... Oh, I understand the puzzle. Oh, gosh, that's cute. That's very cute. So we have to make a bridge of our corpses in a different way. It's like it's the same mechanic, but in a different direction. And that's very clever. It took me a minute to think about that one. That was good. We get the button, opens up the door. Good way to introduce the button mechanic. Very nice. You beat World 1. Read the lore? Heck yeah, read the lore. Oh, we got a different color background. Is that because we found all the pages? A biologist earns the trust of an unfamiliar life form. They take it to meet their astonished colleagues. This file document shows how a Soldasian biologist put effort into winning over an intelligent plant-based life form. They referred to the life form as literally vibrant plant with a soul. I'm looking at this and thinking, whoa. Thank you, Queen Anne. Literal translation will display here. Okay. I'd assume it was a member of the Raflethi, since vibrant plant likely means flower. The biologist brought the Raflethi to meet the other biologists, and someone called 05 was especially in awe at their new discovery. They talk about how hard it was to accept that a plant could have a soul. Past that, my translation gets a little fuzzy. They talk about performing more than one scholar communication. I don't know what that means. Then the writer claims that the Raflethi has self-knowledge. Self-knowledge separated by a dash would imply the writer owns the knowledge. But what is written is a different concept. Having this proved that the Raflethi had a soul to these biologists. Okay, so I mean, it's not knowledge that is owned, it is knowledge of self. I think, therefore, I am, right? Self-knowledge, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty confident in that. And I like the multiple choice. Okay, so when I saw this, I felt very, very, very overwhelmed, right? And then I started reading the story, and I was like, oh, you're, like, giving me hints as to what this is going to be. That's very nice. And then I remembered multiple choice. I was like, okay, if I need to, I can brute force my way through this. Whew. Consciousness. Yeah. Entry 2. The Soldasian 05, mentioned in the previous note, reports to the colony leader 03 about an event they consider unfortunate. The Raflethi that came to the lab apparently got offended by something and left. 35 was also present. They were the one. So now I'm kind of curious, what makes a Kardashian 03 and then 35, you know? Like, that's, what's the society here? Weird that they're numbered. Also weird that, like, there's this hierarchy, and I'm curious. Why is the leader 03 instead of, like, 00 or 01, right? There's a problem with overwhelm right now. You're not expected to read the whole thing raw. Yeah. That makes sense. And that's a really tricky design constraint, for sure. I think we'll go through this lore page, like the whole thing, entries 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll dive into the Octalysis analysis. 3-5 was also present. They were the one who brought the Raflethi to the lab in the first place. Also of note, there's a mention of the flower with the soul aggressively making its body larger. Oh, there's just so many jokes in there. I will say, I like the the skeuomorphism of having that like actual literal book. And I like as well, you're making it easy to navigate. Please keep it easy to navigate. I was just watching a video by Quantic, our good friend Quantic, of a Pokemon style game, like Pokemon card game. Let me bring it over here. This 3-ring binder with like your Pokemon cards, right? He has to click and drag it over, and it's super slow and it's super painful. The comments down below are all about like, hey, that was really rough to watch. And it's just, yeah, arrows are good. Definitely, like, you can have the skeuomorphism of the turning the pages, that's cool, and especially refine it and everything, that's good, but provide an alternative method. So keep the arrows, please. If you don't want to give a hard count of bodies, you could do a star rating or something. Yeah. It's like a one-sided book has only one side. Yeah, it's a little bit strange, but you know, we're like a panda monster trying to bring back space lizards. I don't know. It's a weird world already. Okay. 05 mentions that there will be more Reflethi for them to scholar communication in the future. It's in verb form this time, but I'm still unsure what the word means. 05 says the Reflethi leaving is a difficulty that obstructs their scholar performance. A scholar is the counterpart of a teacher. Oh. I mean, interesting. I wouldn't necessarily say that, but I can see how someone would argue it. Both deal with knowledge, but a teacher imparts it while a scholar discovers it. Yeah, but like, I mean, arguably teachers are also scholars, but I mean, whatever, you know. It's phrased as a noun here. Okay. Obstructs their scholar performance. Scholar performance must mean, I'm gonna guess research, yeah? And then entry 3. I don't know how to feel about this one. It's interesting as well that I'm getting delayed verification on whether it is right or not. I'm really curious what's going to happen when I hit evaluate answers. Is it going to tell me which one is right or wrong? Is it going to tell me how many I got out of 3? Or is it just going to say right or wrong? I'm kind of curious. I don't think it's a panda. I do have a par system planned. Okay, there's no like engine limit to the number of bodies. Okay, got it. Okay, Hadao! Hey, so good to see you. How are you today? Also, I need to crank up the volume on this. The music's pretty quiet compared to many other things, Queen. And I think you can afford to, well, I don't know, until you put in a settings menu, you can probably bump that up a little bit. Good to see you, Hadao. How are things going? How's, let's see, hold on. Let me consult the spreadsheet. I'm pretty sure I know what you were working on. Were you working on the Kotlin engine? Yeah, you were. How's that going? I don't know how to feel about this one. 05, the writer of the last port. Also, I think in previous pages, the names of the aliens were in quotes, and now they're not in quotes. I don't know if that's intentional. If it is intentional, I'm curious what it means. The writer of the last report was lying. The Reflethi didn't leave the lab at all. Through some kind of intimidation, 35 let 05 kill their friend. Some friend. Well, how did that happen? I'm curious. 35 loses composure during this report to the colony leader, swearing multiple times. They report that Reflethi are alive like Soldacians are alive, and that they could see the Reflethi grieving its own death as it passed. Of course it would. That should be obvious without having to see one die. 05 still didn't think the Reflethi was truly alive, but how? Even after they did a death scholar communication verb to them. I mean, like, for realsies, that's gotta be like an autopsy, right? There's that word scholar communication again. I'm still having trouble translating it, but with death modifying the verb, it does imply that it killed the Reflethi, but they were already dead at the time. Okay, so maybe not, maybe it's in scholar communication. Wouldn't be an experiment, right? You're graduated, moving to Dallas! K-Hadao, congrats! That's awesome! Big congrats, K-Hadao. That's super cool. The plot thickens, indeed. Where's my monocle? And my pipe. I actually, wait. Oh, but it's not in here, darn it. I did make, I carved a wooden pipe with an acorn on the end for a Halloween costume once. 35 says here that 05 threatened to spread false rumors, literally deceptive speech, if they didn't obey. 35 claims that if whole member did something I don't understand, mold knowledge to those rumors, they would be exiled. Okay. Whole member. I'm curious what whole member means. would mean everyone in this context, I think. Mold knowledge is more tricky. To start, mold is a swear word. Oh. Okay. Well, yeah, that's some important cultural context. Been busy, but I've been simplifying and moving some functionality over to C. Nice. Very cool. It means someone or something that hurts the community in a way that spreads its damage to other parts of the... Oh, so like mold, like a fungus. It's in verb form here. So if they don't spread the correct knowledge, if they don't address the rumor, right? Weird that it's like a negative thing. I don't know. Destroy books, believe in misinformation, censor the truth to study the fungus. I mean, it's got to be censor the truth, right? But like, who was saying that 05 threatened to spread false rumors if they didn't obey? 35 claims that if whole member did mold knowledge to those rumors, they would be exiled. I'm not following that storyline. It's hard with the numbers for names and no other like if there was like some sort of shape next to them to symbolize which one it is, that would help me to remember. Just the numbers, I'm struggling to remember. Wait, which one was the nice one? Which one got deceived? A fungus sounds sus. How's the superhero game going? It's going very well. We're gonna get into that right as soon as we're done playing Queen Anne's game. Yeah, we're wrapping up this lore bit, and then we're gonna do an Octalysis analysis. We're gonna dive straight back into the superhero game. Yeah. Finn! I can't wait for you to say, I have ascended, I have accomplished, what's it called? When human and machine become one. Singularity. I have achieved singularity with my 3DS. I could see that, Queen Anne. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you could even go with something more alien. It could be like a stone tablet that has the words get spontaneously engraved upon them or something. You get really weird with this. Okay, evaluate answers. 2 right, 1 wrong. Okay, so we're hiding information, right? We're saying you got some of this right, but not everything. I'm wondering if it was this one that's wrong. Oh, and we can click on these to see what they are. See, I've been wondering what these were. I thought they were checkboxes of like, is this going to be a new guessing game to try and get this right? But it's just display. Okay, I don't know why this is here. I don't know what that has to do with what we're doing. And also, are these the things that I found in the levels? I can watch your stream on a piece of food if you want. I do want. I want it, and I want a video. Okay. Scholar performance. If it's not research... thinking, I guess? 1 right and 2 wrong. So that was correct before. So now we have that bit of information. And this is where I'm starting to think, okay, I'm really, really brute forcing this. Because I can just make something that I'm pretty sure is going to be wrong here. Yeah, so that was wrong, because now I have 1 right and 2 wrong. This used to be correct. So it was entry 3. Must mean... Also, I don't like having to click view choices. I wish they would just show up. What are the buttons next to translation? I think I lost it. It was destroy books. Oh, interesting. 2 right, 1 wrong. It's not that. Believe misinformation? There we go. Got it. All right, we're going to pause. We're in the ads. We're going to pause, and we'll come back to this. We'll do our analysis and jump in. Thank you again to Queen Anne. Appreciate you and appreciate the submission. All right, let's dive back in here. Browser, that's where we need to be. There we go. Okay. There's supposed to be what you found in the levels, yes, and there will be an anti-brute force measure put in. I already have that figured out design-wise. Okay, very cool. Can't wait to see it. Just doesn't make sense to have it in the demo because it requires many sets of entries. Okay, sure. I'm curious. I'm curious to see what it is. So now that we got it right, what are we gonna do? Now that I have a better handle on what's being said in these notes, I'm certain that scholar communication means experiment. Okay, I think that's what I said. Communication is the counterpart to knowledge. But, like, that doesn't mean anything to me without seeing, like, the glyphs, right? Like, it's the counterpart to knowledge. Why do I care about that right now? You know, do I need to know that? Is that, like, an important thing? I don't know. If you don't know something, you're encouraged to communicate until you do. Okay. I'm not totally convinced of that either. Like, I mean, from a humanity perspective, you know, tons of discoveries have happened, you know, Eureka style, right? But I'm totally down for this being an alien culture where they have very different norms. And I'm not saying, of course, everything. I mean, obviously, we've built on top of the communication of others. Like, we would not be where we are today without communication, right? Obviously. But that's just what I was thinking when I was going through it. Yeah, Zaft, exactly. Yeah. Scholars start with questions to answer and communicate with nature until they get results. I see now. They performed experiments to see if the Reflethi had consciousness initially. Then 05 mentioned during experiments on future Reflethi they find. Then 05 mentioned running experiments on future Reflethi they find. There we go. Okay, got it. Which is unnerving, considering they perform a dissection, yeah, the autopsy, on the first one they meet. I'm having trouble understanding why 3-5 would simply let this happen. I'm trying to put myself in this person's place, but it's hard. Would they refer to them as a person? To me, it's obvious that Reflethi are intelligent and alive just by looking at them. It doesn't matter that they have plant bodies, but I understand that I was taught this growing up. Really curious if Reflethi are going to be like in the level design at some point, right? Also, I'm starting to think that the supposed rumors that 05 was going to tell everyone had some truth to them. If it was blackmail, it starts to explain why 3-5 did what they were told at first. They would leave that part out when appealing to the colony's leader. But of course, I can only infer so much at this point with what I've found. Okay. Cool. Closing thoughts. Okay. I do want like a quick escape button by the way. Just like, oh, okay, this is not what I thought it was. I want to go back. I guess I can do the back button there, huh? But that's not very intuitive. Maybe if this were a different icon, but even still, if I'm like halfway through, I still want a back button. The language and its quirks are supposed to color the alien's culture and perspective. Sure, yeah, absolutely. Cool. Yeah, different color background now. Cool, page collection. Factory 1, Factory 2. So we have the slots here. Is there a Factory 2 in the demo, or have we seen it all? We just see Play World 1, right? So we probably don't have Factory 2. But I got all of them. Cool. This is great. Okay, let's dive into Octalysis. Let's do this thing. Boop, 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 boop. And let me grab a dot. Okay. So this is let me bring the link over. Endless U. I do like how they bring stuff in. Good job, Fig Jam. I was going to have to write like a thing. Now I don't have to. I just put it up next to it so I know what I'm talking about. Okay. Anxious to see what you thought in Octalysis. Yeah, I'm curious. Let's see. Let's find it out together. And also, before we dive in, let me just preface this with saying everything that I say here on this channel is just like one guy's opinion online. I am not like an incredible game designer. I have done product design for over a decade. Like, I know what I'm talking about in terms of design in general, but I'm not like a game designer as much as I am working to be so. So definitely take everything with that huge grain of salt. I have not published some amazing thing. I do not have reliable success in designing games. So take it with a big grain of salt. But here are my thoughts and opinions, okay? So, epic meaning. I really felt this fairly strongly. I really liked it. Like discovering what was with this ancient alien race, the way that it's discussed in the game. It feels, yeah, you lived peacefully with a community of large lizard-like aliens, and it feels like you kind of look up to them, like the character looks up to them, and so you're trying to restore something. It's not really communicated, but the way it felt to me was like things are not okay anymore now that they're gone, and we want them back because life was better with them here. And that to me seems like this planet spanning sort of thing, and going into their factories and being this endlessly replicating individual. um I felt a good amount of epic meaning, and I will say as well, the translations tie into this a lot, because now we're not even just, Doom guy blasting down walls until we get what we want. We're like seeking knowledge. We're trying to understand and empathize and um obtain a higher elevated state than we were in before. That's character growth, right? Um, Doom Guy, well, granted, I haven't played the new Doom games, but from my understanding, Doom Guy does not have character growth. He blasts things down, he accomplishes cool things, but that is not growth. To put this in terms of like film analysis and film story tropes, we would classify something like that as a comedy. A comedy is not something that's haha funny. A comedy is something where the main character does not grow. There is not a character arc. I mean, maybe a little bit, but like, are they becoming a Jedi? No, right? So Doom would be a comedic narrative. This feels more like a drama where the character is going to learn, try and overcome a problem. The traditional hero's arc, right? The story format we all know and love. Empowerment, it's a little bit tricky because the puzzles are very restrictive, but it is very clearly a puzzle, right? So, do I have complete freedom and ability to do everything that I want? No, but I know as well that I have everything that I need in order to accomplish what I need to. And the translations, like, there are these two halves to the game that are kind of tying into each other a little bit. We'll talk more about that later. I feel like empowerment's like kind of okay. It's not way up here. Because you're very clearly trying to do something that is the intention of the designer, right? There is no like, oh, this is my version of going through this. This is like, how did Queen Anne establish this puzzle? So that's always tricky on the empowerment side. I don't think there were like multiple routes you could take, all that sort of stuff. So you have what you need. You have what you need. The tools that you have are pretty clever, but there's kind of like the route forward. Not necessarily a bad thing. Not every game is going to be at the top of all of these things, right? You hit the nail on the head for the character and their motivation. Okay, cool. Awesome. That's good to know, Queen. Social influence. This is a tricky one for puzzlers. It's very rare for a puzzle game to have social influence. You kind of have to have some sort of either accomplishment basing, like Super Meat Boy and speedrunning and everything, or you need to have something emotionally powerful and shocking, right? I'm trying to think of what an emotionally impactful platformer might be. I mean, there's like Gone Home. That's not really a platformer. But that sort of idea, right? Like Ori and the Blind Forest was so good and it was so emotional that it really brought people in a lot, right? And they would share that with their friends and they say, "Oh my gosh, you have to go cry at this game for a little bit." All right, take care, Risky Biscuit. Thanks for being here. Good to see ya. Unpredictability. I'm gonna put it fairly low, because like there just wasn't a lot of randomness to it, right? Once again, this is a very highly refined puzzle game. This is a game where there are set restrictions, there are set ways to overcome them. The only unpredictability that's coming is like seeing what the next level is. There's no randomness in your powers. There's no randomness of when things will trigger. It's all very logically defined, right? Avoidance. That's a tricky one. I think it's got to be low, right? Because like What are you avoiding? Dying? You know, there's not really like a lot of danger there. Like you want to die, except for on the grills, right? Pianos, straight out. You don't want to die on those. Those will not progress you. But everything else is kind of like, yeah, this is moving me towards my goal, which is interesting, but it does take away from this avoidance. Now, you said there is an anti-brute force mechanic. I am betting when that gets integrated into the game, this is going to probably go up a lot, but only for the people that dive into the lore. So that is something that I would start looking at with that anti-brute force mechanic is you're going to have different personas here, right? You've got your platformer person, and then you've got your lore focused individual. And if someone is just here for the platforming, they will miss this part of the lore. So, do you want to integrate them and tightly bind them so that you cannot progress in platforming without going through the lore? Or do you say, you know what, it's okay, those platformer people, they're just going to miss out on the experience a little bit. They're going to have a different experience than the people who really fully dive in. And you as the designer are going to know the right answer to that. But it's something to be considering, right? Of where do we want to shift this over time? How do we want the design to evolve as they keep going through the game? As someone who is notoriously bad at platforms, I'm here for the lore 100%. And so that's another good point, Sign Painter, is like, this is not just lore. This is lore and platformer, right? A solely lore-focused individual, I think they'd have a different chart, you know? I think it would look very different for them. I think avoidance for someone who's only a lore-based individual, if we say green is lore, right? Lore only. Then I think avoidance kind of skyrockets, but not in a healthy way. It's going to be like every time there's a new level, I kind of only care about the pages. And if the platforming starts becoming too hard, I don't want to do it. You know, like I'm going to grind through as much as I emotionally can stomach. But if the platforming gets too rough or the puzzling gets too rough, I'm out, you know? So that's another really big thing to consider. Is there a way to tie them into each other and ideally help each other, right? Are there ways that I can get advantages in platforming if I engage with the lore? Are there ways that I get better in lore by engaging with the platform? That is already there of finding the pages. There's probably more that could be done there as well. Maybe finding secret areas in the level to, have one of the runes be revealed in the background, and now you can have that automatically added in all of your stuff, right? Once again, these are all dumb ideas that I'm sure Queen Anne is like, oh no, that wouldn't really work for X, Y, and Z reasons, but they're just things to consider of, what are possibilities to help Queen Anne think and ideate. Scarcity, there's pretty much none of it, to be frank. There's not even really a loss condition in this game, right? I have 0 lore in my game at the moment, and that's the way most games are developed, to be frank, because most games are developed by people who have very analytical brains because they program. And so they're going to lean on that engineering side really hard. Most games don't have lore. Most games, indie games, don't really have good art, right? It's because most games are made by programmers because they are the closest to being able to accomplish their goals, and they're like, I bet I could do this. And the barrier of entry for someone who does not know any programming is like, that's not even possible. That's just wizardry. Okay. Yeah, scarcity. I don't think there's really any scarcity right now. Once again, that anti-brute force mechanic, that may change it a little bit. I would imagine something very similar to here, and I think that lore persona is going to go way up top, super anxiety mode. If they have to engage back into the platforming to move past the brute force mechanic, they're if they have to grind out levels to figure it out, I think that's going to break some people. There's a modern day love story behind it, but not in the game yet. There you go. I love learning about your little analytical brains. It's so interesting to learn from a right brain thinker and artist perspective. No fail state is certainly on purpose and important to me, at least for the platform. Yeah, I totally understand that, Queen Anne. Yeah. And once again, it's important to remember as well, when we're talking octalysis, low or high are not necessarily good things, right? They're just statements. It's in the intersection of all of them and how are they complementing each other that that actually matters. Just like you mentioned in the game, right? Context matters. Ownership, maybe some, because you're like picking up those pages and those seem kind of optional. Maybe those are kind of like, oh yeah, I got the 100% completion, right? It's a little bit of ownership. You're not like, building your own character. Like if you could customize your little guy, okay, ownership goes up. If you could take different routes and have different endings, ownership would go up, right? But right now, as what we see in the MVP, I didn't have any ways to like differentiate and make this feel like mine, right? Or if you had like different upgrade paths you could take for the platforming, like, oh, my guy has wings. I sprouted wings, and oh, well, mine has flippers and can swim really well. Yeah, I don't know. Accomplishment. It felt pretty good. That last level I really liked when I realized, oh, I need to, it's the same thing. It's forming the bridge, but from the opposite direction. That felt really good. Every time I kind of pieced together a new, like, oh, that's how you can use this, I thought that was very, it felt very clever. And then I felt clever for taking advantage of it. I would imagine this is going to tie in pretty heavily to epic meaning. So if you're able to get to the end and figure out what happened to these Salassians, accomplishment would go up, right? From purely platforming perspective, it was good. I would think if you're really getting invested in both things and like you stick the landing on the narrative, it's going to be like really high. It's going to feel really, really good when you pull that off. Lore, feeling of accomplishment, I think is going to be a lot lower. Except, well, I mean, there's the game part of like deciphering the lore. I don't know. This is a bit of a question mark for me. I would imagine it's going to be low, but then you've got the whole like guess the words and how would someone respond to that? I'd need to observe someone. I'd need to see the sign painter sit down and like play the full version and see like what is their interaction, because I don't have an insight into how that would feel for them. So there we go. We kind of have these different shapes. And I think that's really interesting. And we start to see how target audiences will shift your design, right? Whoop, whoop, whoop. How do you want to accommodate these? If you want to accommodate them. Something we haven't even brought up, which is theoretically very possible, is speed running. Like, how would a speedrunner interact with this experience? I don't know. Are they going to care about the lore? Is the lore going to be integrated into that? Are they going to have to like find exploits to quickly move past the lore? These are all interesting things. And this is also at the very beginning. When you get really, when you get a little more advanced with Octalysis, you can say, this is our like tutorial, right? This is how we think people are experiencing our tutorial. And this is where we want things to be. But then, by the time we're like midway through the game, this is the experience that we want these people to be having. We want epic meaning to maybe go down. Maybe people are supposed to doubt whether what they're doing is right. And they're getting empowered. And so they start to get this like hubris about them. Like, oh, are we even really doing the right thing? And, oh, start bringing in ghosts of other players. And, you can start changing things over a delta of time with this sort of a framework. So anyways, random thoughts. I think it's really interesting. My biggest question is going to be, how do these two different sides of the game, because it definitely feels like there are two sides to the game, how does the platforming and the lore really integrate with each other in a way that is synergistic instead of subtractive, right? Where every single type of person who is playing it will find joy in those instead of frustration. One really cool thing that I think you have going for you in this world which is frankly the same thing that I think like From Software has, which is a great sense of mystery. And that is something that Octalysis does not measure. Octalysis does not necessarily measure human feeling, right? And so, you know, an Elden Ring, right, is maybe like down here as you start, and like you're trying to, like, unpredictability is way high, and you're trying to avoid everything. Everything's super scarce. Very like some ownership because you picked a class, and then you have like some accomplishment when you kill things. But then like over time, what they do is they leverage mystery, and they introduce mystery to the player in so many different ways that encourage you not only to explore the world and the lore, so like meaning when you really start diving into it, you're like, oh my gosh, but also your empowerment starts to go up because you start exploring the mechanics. Because of that sense of mystery surrounding the mechanics, you start to try and understand what is it that this actually does. And, you know, people get these ridiculous builds, and then you get social influence out the wazoo because, like, people are like, yo, dude, check out, I found out this Unga Bunga build. That's incredible. Unpredictability starts to go down because they understand the systems. Avoidance goes down because now they understand how to recover from things. Like, the chart just starts flipping, and ownership goes out the door. Accomplishment goes out the door, right? So it's like this really interesting heavy bottom flipping to a heavy top. And I think that's because they have that mystery through line. And I think this has something very similar about it, where, like, you're going to be playing, 'cause you're like, what the heck is happening? Why am I throwing this panda onto spikes all the time? Like, what am I doing here? So if they can get integrated in a way that is synergistic, I think it's going to be something really powerful. Still unsure if the lore part will be sticking around. It's almost 2 games with a common thread. I agree, Queen Anne. That's exactly how it feels right now. They are 2 different games. Yes. Which is why I'm talking about it. We need to make sure that changes, right? That it feels synergistic instead of subtractive. I think there's so much that can be developed here lore-wise, but I would really like to see the gameplay developed further first and foremost. I'm curious what you mean by that, Sign Painter, because that may be helpful feedback. You know, I guess I was assuming there would be all sorts of obstacles and different things, like the flirkin duder, you know, whatever the plant thing is, right? That we'd probably see some of that and all sorts of new things. So I kind of just made the assumption of, oh yeah, we're gonna be seeing more. Grab all this, drop, and jump. Ow, boo. Come on. There we go. There's like 13 ways to die currently programmed. Wow. There you go. Tablet Pencil, thanks so much for hanging out. So good to see you. Have a great rest tonight. I hope it is helpful. Thank you for letting me know. That means a lot. Thank you. Players should fail again and again and again until they develop a deep-seated hatred for me and everything I stand for. Oh, shoot. Yeah, so I mean, those are kind of my early thoughts. We talked a little bit about UI, but, you know, obviously it's not in a point where it's really ready to be seriously critiqued on that front. Queen Anne, is there anything else you wanted to get out of this, or any other thoughts or questions or ideas you wanted to discuss before we kind of wrap up here? I will say, this is not the first game I have seen where death is the main mechanic, right? Where you are dying on top of spikes in order to make a bridge for yourself. Like, I remember seeing a game like that come out, sheesh, what, like a decade ago? I don't know, it was a long time ago. So it's not like a brand new concept, but it's certainly not a very explored one. And also, I don't think that game had very much lore. It was kind of just like, this is an interesting idea. So... for what it's worth. But yeah, any other thoughts, questions, concerns from chat or Queen Anne? Anything you wanted to make sure that got discussed that we did not touch on yet? Love to know if you currently feel the 2 experiences are subtractive to each other, and what would you think would be an idea to make them additive? For me, hold on, let me snooze ads real quick. For me, maybe a little subtractive. I'm definitely not platformer only or lore only. I'm definitely like the mix. But it is a little awkward to like bounce back to the main menu. Like if the lore pages were integrated into the UI here and you could go and open your book at any point and start looking through them, that would help that feeling a lot. But if I were just wanting platforming or I were just wanting lore, then yeah, I think one is going to get forgotten over the other, and I think lore people are going to be frustrated by the platforming. Not that it's like tremendously difficult platforming, but I could see someone being into the lore and not into puzzles, and that would be a frustrating experience for them. As for like how do you integrate them, I think there are some things you could do, right? Just as ideas thrown out. You could have not quite a Metroidvania progression, but a progression in character abilities. So right now, all you can do is die, jump, and pick up, right? But what if when you discovered one of the glyphs, like if you've correctly translated experiment, right? You've correctly translated that could correlate to some now overworld power that you have. So now experiment lets you slow down time so you can more correctly observe what's going on or something, right? You can justify it away any number of ways. But that's my first thought. If you want a great channel that talks about how to integrate narrative and mechanic, I would highly recommend Games Over Coffee. Games Over Coffee Consulting in particular. He has 2 different channels. And he does discussions like this all the time. Power word kind of vibe. Yeah, I mean, I could see that, right? That's one option. Another way is, oh, wait a minute. Did the checkpoint disintegrating the old body trigger the checkpoint? That's a thing to play with. Yeah, he has some great videos talking about exactly this thing. How do you integrate mechanics into a narrative? And vice versa. So, I'm trying to think of what are other ways we could bring the lore in, right? It could be that you're presented with a branching path, right? And in order to know which path is the less dangerous one, you have to correctly translate it, right? And then if you've been doing your lore pages, then more of it will be auto-translated for you. There's stuff you could explore in that way. You jump the same height each time. Yeah, is it a variable jump height? I don't think so. This is a tap. This is a hold. So maybe there is, but it's pretty small. If that portal activation was a bug, please don't fix it. It's super cool. I agree, Zaft. I want to see puzzles around that. There's 2 jump heights. Okay. Yeah. So those are kind of my thoughts. Integrate the lore into the powers that the character has, or integrate the lore somehow into the directions that they take. Those are the 2 main things coming to mind right now. And that's not to say they're the only things, of course. There's a billion ways that you could make it really interesting. But that's what's coming to mind, low-hanging fruit for me. It is on purpose. Good. Yeah, Queen Anne, does that answer your question at all? Is that helpful in any way? Happy to keep exploring this, if that would be helpful. Boop. Okay. I'd like to be able to, throw the body, too. Jump up, press J, and then, hurl the body over the obstacle into the checkpoint, right? Okay, I'm glad it was helpful. And you're so very welcome. Thank you for making something really cool. I think you have to lean heavily into either puzzles or platformer or both equally. Yeah, I think right now it's very heavily into puzzles, right? There's not really a whole lot of tricky platforming. This is 90% puzzle, right? Okay. Very cool. That was Endless You, the MVP. Also, MVP, that has to be like an achievement or something, because like it ties in so perfectly with the idea of an endless you. You are the most valuable person. Endless you. Well done. Don't want to make you play it a third time, so we're good to go. All right. Well, I'm having a good time. If you have a platformer, it would be annoying if some rooms were locked off by puzzles, or if you're playing a puzzle, then get stuck on platforming. I see what you're saying. Yeah, and I mean, that's a good point, because right now, we've been saying platformer. Really what this is puzzler, right? A platformer, this is not. There are platforming elements in it, but they're really just there to serve the puzzles. And so if you were to make a more platforming element to it, then yeah, now all of a sudden we have a whole nother thing to start keeping track of, and how do we integrate. Absolutely. Okay, there we go. Endless U MVP. Thank you so much, Queen Anne. I'm so glad we got to check that out here today. That was so cool. Thank you for sharing. I'm so thrilled that we got to see what these cryptic hints have been about for so long. Thank you for sharing. You're so very welcome, Queen Anne. We have ads starting in just a second. We're going to jump into the ads, and then we'll jump into our last little section for the day. And with that being said, we'll be back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's do some game dev. we have a lot of stuff to fix. Let's get this timer label gone. I don't think we need it anymore. Let's just delete that. Where's our timer label? Timer label gone. Don't want you. You can get a body dropped on you, which will kill you. Oh, wow. I don't even know how you would do that. I guess you could, like, stack things so they're, like, stepping up, and then you grab something from the bottom of the stack so it kind of falls down. My goodness. I was theorizing about exactly that. Amazing, Zaf. Well, there you go, Queen Anne. That's an interesting data point, right? Somebody was theorizing, what are all the different ways you can die? And trying to figure that out. That may be something worth exploring, some sort of drive for the player. I was reading today a really cool Reddit thread about how Steam markets your game for you and what are their decision metrics and everything. And one of them was like playtime and revenue are like the big things. So if you get people playing your game for really long amounts of time, Steam will recommend it more, which I didn't know about. I didn't know that they accounted for playtime. All right, take care, Queen Anne. Good to see ya. Running into the wall super hard. So many dumb ways to die. Can I just scooch these down a smidge? Yeah, let's just do like one smidge. And then go to our timer bar. No, just the timer bar. Thank you. There we go. And then let's test that out. Let's see kind of where we're at right now. My interest level definitely went up when you mentioned the number of ways to die. There you go. Okay. This is looking better. I mean, obviously this is not final. I just want it to not look like broken. As long as it looks low fidelity and like it needs to change, I'm okay with that. I don't want it to look broken. Okay. Let's try and fix are we energizing? Oh, we have 1,000. That's honestly probably working. Where's our player scene? I bet that's a debug value we've set, right? Energizes 1, and then yeah. I pressed E, and that set our energy up to 1,000. I like the new way the dots drop. Yeah, Rubik. So this was an idea. We prototyped a couple of different UIs, and we ended up kind of combining a bunch of different ideas into each other. This was one of them. So the idea is different fights are going to have different like shapes of zones. So this fight, it's got the slant. Another one may be straight up and down. Another one may be a circle. Another one may be a star or a spiral. And then like the dots can come flying in from different directions as well. So on this one, they're coming from the top. But in like the circle one, maybe they're coming from all sides. And maybe, there's an arc one of like electricity bouncing between two different, broken off pieces of cable. And like the dots are shooting out of those things, right? I think there could be a lot of interesting ways we kind of play with it and create different problems for the player to have to deal with. Kind of like Peglin. Kind of like how Peglin works. The way they fall would frustrate me so much. How so, Risky Biscuit? What do you mean? So next up, we need to fix our timer. And this, too. Let's go to our fight scene. Let's fix the powers first, I guess. Let's go here. We're going to go into Funk Process. And I just want to see, like, print. fight. Well, no, wait, hold on. This is a. Jeez, what am I doing? I just want to print out the health of things and like see are we actually doing things correctly. There's very little predictability in where they will be going. It doesn't annoy me. No, I mean it does. Gravity's wrong. So if I'm 4 out of 5 into a combo and it moves, oh, that's happening because of this little guy, which you can't really see. This is like a peg in the middle of the board that stuff is bouncing off of. So that needs to be more visually clear. Of course, because none of this is finalized art. But they're just going to be falling down from the upper left until something disrupts that, right? So they're all going to be going down. And then these things will be added in like by the villain players and stuff, right? So, and if that were more visible, you'd probably be able to like predict the movement a lot better as well. You don't like that they fall diagonally? What, Jack, you want straight down your whole life? Rigid. It's weird I like the peg though. There you go. Yes, straight down. Very German. Rules, structure, engineering. Okay. Or give some variety to starting velocities. Probably should do that, to be frank. Maybe. Because if we have variety to starting velocities, then that means they're going to be bumping up against each other more without that like board interference from the villains. That may be a good thing and it may be a bad thing. I don't know. Stop making them fall in a straight line. It really annoys me. Is it feeling too artificial? Is that essentially what it is? It's like nature would behave differently, and this isn't doing what my mental model is, and so that dissonance is difficult. 40 years of Tetris, let it fall sideways. There you go. There you go. Okay. Fight UI. Here we go. Func, process, print. And we just want to print villain info.hp. That's all we want. I just want to know, is the problem that we're not updating the UI or that the value isn't actually taking effect? We're not updating the UI. Okay. Or no, it's not that we're not updating the UI. The power isn't triggering. So that's very helpful information. Which is weird. Let's do our breakpoint there. Let's see what's happening here. Red, red, blue. So we are here. Where is this going to take us? Take damage. For ohm. Ohm is going to take damage. If block is greater than 0, block is 1. So we should step in here. Okay. So we reduce our block and our attack by 1. So HP is less than equal to attack. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then... So it is a UI problem. We're not updating our block. Because if we go to fight UI and do this and block. Oh, nice. That's another ban. Cool. Don't they know the best viewers are already here? That joke will never get old. So yeah, 10 and 1 in the console. Get rid of the breakpoint. And 10 and 0. So it's just not updating in the UI. When are we updating the UI? When are we updating this? Are we not updating it? I mean, we're setting the labels up, right? So like they're connected. Right? They're connected. Check fight UI. Oh, I thought we were. Shoot. Sorry. Thanks for that, Jack. Yeah, function update UI. But, like, we shouldn't have to manually do that, right? Shouldn't it just be updating according to the values as they are because they're connected? Or do we have to manually say, now set it? You do have to set it. Okay. All right. My mental model was broken. What calls update UI? Right here on screen VFX. Which is happening, right? Aren't we getting the screen shake and stuff? Or is that not triggering? Yeah, we're hitting it. So we're going into update UI. Oh, I bet it is happening. Yeah, it's happening before the power goes. That's our problem. Order of operations. They aren't pointers or anything. Okay. All right. That's fine. I just need to readjust my mental model. That's just fine. So this is happening too quick. Right? We are doing a signal that the power has ended, though. So let's just hook into that. Let's get rid of this function. And then let's just say on power end dot power end dot connect to update UI. This is like exactly why that signal exists. Use the tween. Why would we use the tween? Oh, like do an await on the tween? I can see what you're saying. You might want to keep the other calling it. Why is that? Okay, looks like things are working. Tween has a tween callback. It doesn't matter how many times it's called. It might not register for other effects you trigger. So you could schedule it all as part of the same animation. I'm not understanding the downside of this. It might not register for other effects. I mean, it's... as long as a power is being used, then it should update, right? And as long as we have the villains doing... Well, okay, I guess theoretically we could maybe have it where, like, there's a poison symbol, right? It's dropping. If you click on it, you'll take a damage. And we'd need to update the UI, and that wouldn't tie into that. It would also need to be its own, like, whole different thing, though. When the enemy has a turn, it doesn't do a power, so player health won't decrease. It should. I think I built it that way, but let's check. Let's check. All right, villain. Yeah. Oh, wait, but that's connecting. Are we doing power and emitting? No. Okay. Yeah, how are we doing this before? How are we doing it before? Because it used to work. Try just running it. I mean, sure. But I mean, I think we saw from the code you guys are right? That's board disruption. Board disruption. Just add back in the call. So what, we do tween.callback. And then what? Pass in update UI as a parameter? Like that? That doesn't seem right. Keep both, just... That feels separation of concern problem-y, right? Because, like, power end is going to call the update, but then as well, when we do a power, we're going to do this screen VFX, and it's going to update, right? We're doing the same thing twice. For at least one thing. Okay, we're updating. We're updating the UI on power. Might need to call it somewhere else then. Yeah. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. Yeah, and we need to fix the villain. The villain's very broken right now. Villain triggers screen VFX. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. Let's see. Hold on. What is screen VFX? What are we doing here? We're doing the full screen flash. We're doing the screen shake. I just want to verify. The screen shake is happening, right? Which we're going to include an option to turn off. Yes, it is happening a little bit. Okay. And we're moving the camera. So this is just for the screen. This is just triggering the screen stuff. So the villain should be hitting that. Oh, but it's on power.connect. So the villain is not triggering that. And this obviously needs to get a lot more sophisticated. We need to have this like only happen on damage and maybe have the screen shake only happen on like certain amounts of damage, and we'll get all that later. Let me actually add it to do here. Adjust this to be dynamic to the type of effect happening. More damage equals screen shake, healing equals green flash instead of white, etc. Okay. Won't trigger it, so that's why it worked before. I'm not totally sure what you're referring to, but yeah. I mean, we could just say power.emit too, right? Theoretically, just when we say it's the end of the villain turn, or rather, at the start of the villain turn, we connect to villain turn. Here, we do, yeah. Before we do our animation and everything, we can just call signal bus.power. I mean, is that going to be, like, weird? Am I going to regret doing that later on? The code is mythical, as in you claim it works, but there's lots of evidence to disprove it. Why are your child nodes yellow? I don't know. Oh, because they're inherited. They're not, like, direct child nodes. They're editable children. Yep, exactly, Zaft. Num 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 num. Just like Kronos. Yeah, okay, so we need to fix the villain turn stuff as well. But you know what? I think my daughter is up and running, so I think we're gonna raid out. Never knew that? Yeah, it's good stuff. Let's go ahead and raid into another game dev. What would be a good game dev to raid into? Someone we haven't been to in a while. Possibly ever. See you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out, Jack. It was good having you. Thank you for your input and your thoughts. Let's see. What's a good place to raid into? We could raid into Crispy Sense. I don't really want to... I want to do game dev today. Raid into Grubby. You're stream for like 6 more hours, and then I know who you can raid into. Unfortunately, no, or else my wife would murder me. Let's raid into Cedalix. We haven't been there in a little while. Let's go hang out with Cedalix. With that being said, for those of you who are new, we are a charitable enterprise, foxhollowgames, that is helping people enter the game industry. If that sounds like a good time to you, we do analysis and game dev and all sorts of cool stuff. Interviews, we got some cool stuff set up. We have a game jam starting in July. If that sounds like a good time to you, feel free to like, follow, subscribe wherever you are at. It helps us tremendously to be able to push this community and this organization forward to actually help the people we want to help. Thank you so much, Tom. Good to see ya. And we will catch you next time.